Welcome, Julie. Nice to have you here
you.
for the Kids
Hello.
Time segment this morning. Say hi to Julie. Um,
Thanks. That's my fan club right over here in the front. You gotta bring it with you.
so we've been using these times to keep doing faith at home focuses. And we're doing that because I realize that, people are kind of coming back to the sanctuary in person, kind of at levels that they're comfortable with. And so there's Sunday school, and we're starting that, which is great, but also realize that some people aren't quite there yet. And so we want to do this. So these are activities that whether you're at home or whether you're here, it's something you can do through the week to kind of build up and strengthen your faith. And so this is the fourth Sunday of the month, so it's an active service. And so Julie and I are going to talk about what that is. And so we're going to call it, next slide, I believe. Before we do that, I forgot. This is the good thing about graphics, they remind us. So it's an active service. I just want to offer you a quick reminder about some of the things we've done in the past year, because I think it's really encouraging. When we look at here's all the different ways that we've been serving and helping other people and the way that you've been blessing others. So we've had Food for a Friend, right? People have been making food and kind of delivering food for people. There's been sending someone a song. Do you remember that one? That was like where people would record a song and they'd send it to someone as kind of a digitally they'd send it to them as a kind of an uplift. There was the Christmas toy drive, which was really, really a great success. People gave not only, toys to that, and we had certain age categories that we focused on, but people sent money so that the organizers could buy it. Each one reach one, so everyone identifying, okay, who's someone who might need some encouragement or help, and they would reach out to that person individually. Next slide. And then there was also helping a trafficking survivor. And so there was a local opportunity for someone who had been rescued out of a human trafficking situation. So we were able to provide a lot of aftercare to help that individual. The acts of undercover kindness. So like mysteriously, kind of secretly helping someone in a way that that other person might not know. Funny, with a lot of these things, I say the title and I think of the video that Laura made that went along with it. The Deacons Fund, people have been helping with the Deacons Fund, and that has been a way to, bless people financially. Some people are struggling, whether inside or outside the congregation, so people have supported that. Then there's been the A Phone for Apes, which is the most recent one as well. So this isn't even all of them. This is just some of the ways that people have been blessing other people. And so this week and this month, what we're going to do is this. It is the Not So Cheap Easter Food Drive. Now, I'm going to explain what that is. And so we need to have like a food drive, and this is around Easter. This is the Berry Food Bank. It's a really important time of need for them. But the not so cheap idea is this, and this connects, and this is what Julie's going to share with us about, is that sometimes when we do these things and drives and we want to provide help for people, we go out there, and not always, but sometimes it's like, oh, here's a bunch of stuff and this is the cheapest, so I'm going to get this, and this is kind of a good thing to donate. But Julie had this great conversation with many of our youth when they were buying hats and mitts for the David Busby Street Center about the kinds of things you buy and the things that we can be aware of. So Julie, can you maybe explain some of the things you talked about that we might benefit from as we think about the food drive?
So yes, so this year at Christmas time, the youth groups met and we went and did hats and mittens, and we also went to Loblaws and actually bought food as well for the food bank. One of the things that we talked about was, yes, you can go to the dollar store and you can get mountains of hats and mittens and things like that, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be waterproof. They may not be as warm as, as something from another place. So what we ended up doing is we actually split into 3 groups, and we had one group that went to the dollar store for some quantity of things. And I personally know in my son's class, for example, that he has some friends that have, sensory issues, and they really like those stretchy mitts. So, 5 pairs of those might go a long way in one household, especially because small people forget things and lose things at school a lot.
Really?
So shocking, I know.
That sounds,
I know.
It's not right.
Yes. We also then had friends go to Winners and go to Mark's Work Warehouse. And so they all had about the same amount of money, a little bit more money actually went to Mark's Work Warehouse for the thermal underwear, for the really warm clothing.
Yeah, the good stuff.
The good stuff, the waterproof stuff. And Winners also has a bit of both, right? And then when we went to Loblaws, and we went there because someone donated all of their PC points. So it was a significant amount of PC points. We were able to purchase a lot of items. But anyway, we talked about purchasing the food there and what kinds of things were on the list of the food bank. And often when you look at the food bank's website, they will have a most needed section. And one of those, most of the time, you will see diapers. But if you buy the cheapest diapers, they will leak. They will not support your child's needs. They were looking at formula. Formula is incredibly, incredibly expensive. And some babies just don't nurse, or their moms have to work, so they cannot nurse. And that is a valid and opportunity for those babies to have food is necessary, but they may have a lactose problem. And so they may need lactose-free formula. So when you're looking at things and you're purchasing them, you have to think, okay, well, just because this individual is in need doesn't mean they don't have other needs as well. So so it was a big eye-opener to think about those things. And then we also talked about the fact that you can't purchase necessarily the cheapest items, like, I don't know, so let's say Kraft Dinner, which tastes best with milk and butter, without thinking, well, they may not have milk or margarine or butter to put into it, right? So when you're purchasing items, you don't want to buy Hamburger Helper if a hamburger is not an option, right? So these are the kinds of things that we talked about when we were looking at our purchases. And one of the things that I know a lot of the groups did, they did go with, no-name soups or something like that, but they also were like, but my favorite at-school treat is bear paws. So we tried to balance what our favorites were with maybe some things that could be less, perhaps. But yeah.
Thanks. Now my kids are going to ask for bear paws this week.
You're welcome. We like the banana bread and chocolate chip versions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Julie. So that's just maybe something for us to think about, as we go about, okay, we want to contribute to the food drive, and sometimes maybe the cheaper thing is okay, and sometimes it's not, but just giving that extra level of thought, thinking, who's on the other end of this gift? Who's on the other end of this gift, and what can I maybe purchase that it's going to be most helpful to them? And so we encourage you with that. So there's going to be baskets out, for the next several Sundays leading up to Easter. If you want to think about it, bring some stuff in, that is great. Also for those at home, you could drop it off during the church office hours, or you can send e-transfer money directly either through us or to the food bank, because they can take that dollar and stretch it a long way because they're able to do that. So thank you, Julie. Hopefully everyone is able to contribute.